Let's fight. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you guys. Let's fight. Share the live for us and smash that emoji button as well. Smash it, guys. We're happy to have each and every one of you here. Smash that emoji button for us. Good to have you folks on the live tonight. I see some of you are already here with us out front, live and in living color, in the Coliseum, in the stadium, folks. Good to have you in the VIP. Welcome in the ring, and we're just trying to make sure that we are shared at our end, guys, to all the valid and credible places. You know how we do it. You know how we do it. But good to have all of you folks with us. Each and every one of you. Share that live. Share, share, share. We're holding for more of you to come in, to come on, and to be here with us. Good to have each and every one of you. Peace and power, guys. Boots on the ground. We're happy to have you folks here with us. Delighted to have you folks here with us. How have you guys been keeping today? However you guys are, we're just ensuring that we are shared to all of the valid and credible places, guys. We're just about a minute in, just after 8 o'clock here in the national capital city of Georgetown in Guyana, where we're broadcasting live from. And we're so happy to have all of you here with us. We are still in the process of sharing the live and smashing that emoji button as well. Guys, you all know how we do it. As I said, folks, great to see all you here. Morning, Toby, Sudhari, Sukhchan, Sudhari. Great to have you two with us. And all the other folks who are joining us at the various pages. Mark Alman, we see you there. Mark. Good to see you on the live, Mark. We got the opener. We got the opener. Folks, we got to fight. Karen said the opener is there. You know, we got to open the appetite. A minute and 400 of y'all already done clock round. But good to see each and every one of you, folks. Good to see each and every one of you on the live tonight. We're happy that you all are on the live. And how we said, we're on the live, we're on the live, we're on the live. Just in case you missed our program last night, we were talking about what transpired before the Human Rights Committee there of the United Nations. You know, we name getting called. Guyana, that is. The PVP, that is. The name getting called. And of course, some of what the police force has been doing has come into the purview of the United Nations Human Rights Committee. And they were mentioned. We posed a question to Kemraj Ramjatan on the state of the Guyana police force on that front, folks. This is what he told us. The opener. Take a look and take a listen. This is the opener, folks. Share the live and smash that emoji button. The opener.
Leader of the Alliance for Change and Member of Parliament Kemraj Ramjatan has said that there is a lack of professionalism in the Guyana police force. He was reacting to a question posed at the hearing of the United Nations Human Rights Commission.
Well, it's a lot of insanity. It's a lot of madness going on there. And it's all as a result of this deficiency of professionalism. And I have to also state a decrease in discipline.
The madness that he has been speaking about is a case of a party of policemen shooting at a police officer driving to work.
The policemen, in relation to those two shootings, obviously were very reckless as to what they were doing, if not completely intentional. It could very well be intentional. And so when you can have people following a car that is being driven by a policeman in uniform, and they were ununiformed, and they start firing 85, 88 shots and so on, it shows that this is pure madness going on in the police force at this time.
He blamed the government for this state of affairs. He said that the government isn't providing guidance and instruction on policy matters.
We had created a number of recommendations, some of which were being implemented by that very famous Russell Coombe. You probably know him from England. He had come from the Metropolitan Police Department.
Did some good work with us here. Did some fantastic work with us here.
Very fantastic work. And in addition, we had also Sam Sitlington from an expert on fraud detection and was helping Soku in so many matters and so on.
He said that the recommendations by these men have been shelved by the government.
The thing has gone from bad to worse. And the little improvements that we had made during that year, 2 or 3 year period after they started making the recommendations have all gone to the dogs, as it were. Wow. And now the indiscipline I know of two policemen who are very independent in their thinking, who have been doing some programs. They seem to have a lot of inside information. Conway and Mr. Slow, Paul Slow, who had been treated bad by the PPP government, as we know, and is now doing criticism and critiquing the police force.
Ramchitan said that the police force has fallen apart.
Is because of a perennial denial of reform. They don't like reform. You know, and that is what we started under the APNU coalition, AFC coalition. They do not like that generally. And so you have to get leaders at the level of the minister and so on to ensure that they do that which the recommenders who had come, whether it is the recommendations from the DEA, whether it is from the CARICOM security sector, whether it is from Russell Combe or Sitlington and whatever, they must adhere to those principles and recommendations.
Policemen openly say that they will only take instructions from the political directorate, according to Ramchitan.
And that is why whenever that kind of thing happens to the police force, you can get these young men on motorbike and all of that, knowing that they will not be caught, who will want to now commit crimes with impunity, knowing very well that the police got its own set of criminals inside and they will not waste time on them. Mm-hmm. And that is why murder rates have gone up. All kinds of things have gone up in aggravated robberies, and it is very insecure at this point in time.
This situation has prompted the United States to increase funding for training in the Guyana police force.
Yep, that is some of what came up, folks. As I said, some of what came up quite recently before the Human Rights Committee there of the United Nations. It's a lot. And that was the opener, folks. I'm not going to leave you just there because I want you to know some of the other things that were mentioned as we hear on the subject matter. You know, Guyana's anti-corruption measures came up for scrutiny. What are the systems you have in place? And then they mentioned Jagdeo as well. And Teixeira responds, folks, to that. Take a look and take a listen to how that went down. Anti-corruption measures. What anti-corruption measures does Guyana have in place? Those are some of the questions that they asked. And then they asked for Jagdeo. Teixeira responds as well.
Today, I will address Issue 5 on anti-corruption measures. The committee appreciates the extensive information provided by the State Party regarding this topic. However, we have questions about the functioning of various national anti-corruption bodies. For example, reports indicate that the Commissioner of Information is sometimes unresponsive to requests from the public, and that the Access to Information Act, which created this office, contains overbroad exemptions. The Public Procurement Commission has also come under scrutiny for the slow pace of its work and selective oversight of government contracts, which have long been a source of graft. Please provide further information about the recent activities of these bodies, as well as other anti-corruption institutions such as the Auditor General's Office and the Integrity Commission. Additionally, please update the committee on the status of the Protected Disclosures and Witness Protection Acts, which the State Party has indicated have yet to be activated. The committee understands that the State Party dismantled the State Assets Recovery Agency in 2020 in response to concerns about its effectiveness. Please tell us which government agency is currently responsible for the recovery of stolen state assets and how it is pursuing this mission. The committee also reiterates its request for information on measures to ensure prompt and effective investigations into allegations of corruption and the prosecution of perpetrators. The committee is aware of public frustration regarding, for example, the failure to investigate reports of corruption by Vice President Bharat Jagdeo. The committee also notes allegations of corruption in the Guyana police force and in the judiciary. Would the State Party care to comment on these reports? I should also note that another member of the committee will address issues relating to the independence of the judiciary later in the dialogue.
The issue of the Vice News accusation of a Vice News report article on the Vice President of Guyana and acts of corruption There's no follow-up, and because there was no police report made by Vice News or anybody else. And so the police cannot investigate without some form of report of complaint. However, the Vice President has answered this issue publicly several times in the same media that has carried these reports.
Today, I will address.
Yeah, you know what else came up, folks? Welcome back. You know what else came up in these hearings? The people of the Haitians locally. Yeah. You know, we're so happy to have all of you here. Sabina Jacobs, Michaela Andrew Coates. We got Oninius King and Sukshan Sudhari, Glenford Gordon, Penelope. The treatment of the Haitians also came up. I think it's Adam Harris who walks us through this.
The issue of discrimination didn't escape the notice of the United Nations Human Rights Commission. Mr. Quezada, a member of the UN Commission, sought information on the Haitians.
We have been made aware of complaints pertaining to discrimination and ill treatment meted out against Haitian migrants, including reports of detention in inhumane conditions. We have also been informed that the government is said to have issued an order removing Haitian migrants from the list of foreign nationals who can enter Guyana and remain in the country for a period of up to 6 months visa-free. Such a measure would be a violation of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, according to which Haitians, in their capacity as nationals of a member state of CARICOM, Haiti has been a member of CARICOM since July 2002, would have automatic right of entry and the right to remain 6 months visa-free in Guyana, because they are both members of CARICOM. So I'd like to ask the delegation of the State Party to explain the grounds for this measure, which has so adversely impacted the right to enter and remain visa-free for 6 months of Haitian nationals in Guyana.
This is an issue that the government has refused to address. Mr. Quezada also sought information on Haitian asylum seekers.
Are they subject to these same restrictions on the right to entry and right to remain, etc.? My third question under paragraph 24, and here I reiterate one of the questions contained in our list of issues. The committee would like to ask the State Party about the measures that it has adopted to prevent and combat the trafficking of refugee women and girls, in particular those coming from the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, as well as steps taken by Guyana to guarantee protection and assistance to victims of this trafficking.
A member of the United Nations Human Rights Commission, he was interested in Guyana's human rights record. He quizzed the Guyana delegation on some aspects of the country's human rights record.
With regard to the significant backlog in cases before the courts, the State Party informed the committee about progress that has been made in reducing the backlog of civil cases following the introduction of new civilian proceedings norms in 2016. Nonetheless, we lack more specific and precise information about the level of backlog in criminal cases.
He wanted the local authorities to confirm that there is indeed a backlog, and if there is, he wanted numbers and statistics. He also asked about the conversion of containers into courtrooms.
I'd like to ask what other measures have been adopted by the State Party to make headway in reducing the delays as well as the backlog in criminal trials and criminal proceedings. Have any new criminal courts been set up and opened over the last few years?
He queried the free illegal aid system in Guyana.
Requested the State Party to provide statistical data on the free legal aid system in the country. We asked particularly for details on the number and type of cases for which free legal aid has been requested, the number of type of cases in which free legal aid was granted, and the number of type of cases in which free legal aid was denied during the reporting period. This information was not provided in the third periodic report, so I'd ask the delegation of the State Party to provide us with that data, with those statistics and numbers now. I would like to ask whether the State Party has adopted measures to improve access to justice for residents in rural and remote areas, including the interior of the country, as well as for members of indigenous communities. And on a related note, we'd like to ask how you guarantee access to free legal aid from persons living in remote and rural and interior areas and from indigenous communities.
He was also interested in the treatment of aliens and refugees. He wanted to know if there was comprehensive legislation for refugees.
Since the submission of your report in which you made that point, you have actually begun any legislative process to address the need for comprehensive legislation on refugees and asylum processes. Would also like to ask the State Party whether you have considered the possibility of acceding to the Refugee Status Convention of 1954 and its 1967 protocol.
Yep. That's how it went down, folks. I saw one comment roll by that said the folder full of information, full of information. And folks, that's just the open up. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Ring the bell one time for Angela Jordan and her visitors, her sister and her brother-in-law. So nice to meet you guys, folks. Peace and power to each and every one of you. Hope that the rest of you stays productive. Thanks for joining us this evening. And that's just the open up, folks. We're just getting started. Let's show you some of the other things we're tracking internationally, folks. Internationally, Naomi Druck is you. Naomi said, Gail, wink if you need help. Wink, wink, wink. Wink if you need help. Russia's fired 31 missiles in as many hours at the Ukraine, of which the Ukraine said they've intercepted all. Folks, this war thing, I ain't like it. It's like old age. I ain't like it. Please. Let's bring this thing to finality. I don't like it at all. 31. Ukraine said they've intercepted them. Moving on, folks. Vietnam president has resigned after a year in office. Everyone should follow. You don't think so? I sure this man who have the nastiness that they have done. And it's all coming out before the United Nations Human Rights Committee. I sure this fellow haven't done half the dastardly things that they have done. He fed up. He tired with the nonsense. Yep, this is Vo Van Tong, the Vietnamese president, 1 year in office. And watch now, government accuses Tong of violating party rules, right? And his resignation follows a political stability crackdown, they say. He's the youngest president ever to hold the position at 53. Resign. They say run away if you can't take the bubbling. If you can't take the pressure. Gotta go. So Tong walks. Some boys should take a cue from Tong, you know. Please and thank you. Take a cue, folks. Jamaica. Jamaica like the competing with us for action. Then we do have a sitting, that is, of the National Assembly. Whenever Irfan Ali and Jagdeo and Mansour Nadir decide we can have a sitting of the National Assembly, they're competing with us, folks. I think things took a turn. Things have took a turn in Jamaica. Andrew Holness is the head of government. And if you've been following, you know that their Speaker of the National Assembly resigned a short while ago, a couple of weeks ago, resigned. Yep, because of some declarations issued with the Integrity Commission. Resigned. The woman do have the things that Mansour has done. He still stand up. He should follow. She has resigned. But that's where it gets tricky. It gets a little dicey. Because the Prime Minister's wife is now the Speaker. So she heads the legislative arm of government. That's very, very, And he heads the executive arm. She heads the legislative arm. And then they had a brother. Was Chief Justice or Chancellor? Could you imagine that? No. I ain't agree there. So the leader of the opposition recently brought this up, which saw some action in the National Assembly there, folks, of Jamaica. Look at some of what went on. I feel the grudgery. You know, they need some excitement in their National Assembly. So they've been watching us and said, no. You're not having all the fun. They are not having all the fun. And after the drama was finished, quote unquote, inside the house, they went outside. Take a look, folks. Jamaica, share it live, smash that emoji button, folks, and partner with us as well.
When the former speaker was forced to resign as a result of an Integrity Commission investigation, the move to replace her with the wife of the Prime Minister, so that the head of Parliament is now the spouse of the head of government, really does not sit well with the tradition that the Speaker acts independently of the government of the day. The Speaker is intended to be independent and must act independently of the government of the day. That is the tradition. That That is a tradition. The failure, the failure, the failure. Mr. Speaker, members. Mr. Speaker, the failure to identify the so-called illicit six MPs. The point I was making when the Prime Minister chose to walk out and was left the Parliament without a quorum. I think it's the first time this has happened in independent Jamaica. That's in a budget speech. The opposition has been denied the opportunity to finish their presentation. And here I am assembled on Duke Street. I was near the end anyway, but there were some important points that needed to be made. And I'm going to continue. The point I made when they walked out was this. When the former speaker was forced to resign as a result of an Integrity Commission investigation, the move to replace her with the wife of the Prime Minister, so that the head of Parliament is now the spouse of the head of government, does not sit well with the tradition that the speaker must act independently of the government of the day. That is a fundamental principle of the Westminster system of democracy. Yes. And it is protected in a number of ways. For example, in the United Kingdom, nobody runs against the speaker in an election. They make sure the speaker is elected because that person is supposed to be independent. So that, I think, that move to do what happened in our case here was inconsistent with that level of independence that's required. The failure to disclose the identity of the so-called illicit six MPs who are under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment remains a festering sore, only made worse by the Prime Minister's gag order on his own cabinet ministers from speaking publicly on matters to do with the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister's statutory declarations of assets and liabilities and income have not been certified and published by the Integrity Commission for successive years. It is untenable for the head of government of Jamaica not to be in good standing with the country's Integrity Commission for a prolonged period. All I can say to him, and I would have said it to him if we were still in the house, all I can say, if I were in your position, I would take with myself and hand over to someone else who is not compromised.
Yep. Take away yourself. Hand over to someone else who's not compromised, folks. Like out of Jamaica, we apologize for the quality of the footage. Take away yourself. Hand over to someone else who's not so compromised. That sounds very familiar. And I hope, because I like wholeness, but I always root for the underdogs. I like wholeness. I hope wholeness don't get like these boys here, who believe that democracy is just an X flinging a ballot box, and if it counts or not, it doesn't matter. Right? And if you know how it got there or not, it doesn't matter. Once an X in a ballot box, that's democracy. I hope wholeness don't get like that. I like wholeness. Right? I like Mark Golden too. I always root for the underdogs. You see? But democracy got to be deeper than that. You got to get depth and breadth. It's more than that. And I can't see any country where the Prime Minister, head of government, and the wife is head of the legislative branch. Right? Something is wrong with that. We had some stuff like that creeping up here. One man was in finance, his wife at the general office. Rob Gonzalez got some of that by he's Prime Minister, his son is finance minister, his son wife in some oversight body there. Democracy really takes a turn in the region. And some of the late greats must be turning in the grave when they see what we become, folks. Turning in the grave. Jamaica have an amnesty. Jamaica got an amnesty. Interestingly, folks, in Jamaica, didn't hear the Minister of Home Affairs say, pitch it over the station fence. Right? Pitch it over the station fence. He didn't say that. They're hoping to, of course, they're seeing a upsurge in crime and gun violence and so on. And so they've launched a gun amnesty hoping to minimize, mitigate, if not eliminate altogether, gun violence in Grenada. Now we pitched over the fence. So we get some of these folks. Where we get some of them from, Angela Jordan and family. Pitch it over the fence. Fed up with some of them. Oh my God, folks. Brace yourself. It doesn't get better. Brace. Like a brace by a chair or something. It doesn't get better. It don't get better. That's the 592, folks. You're the ones who come here. Sorry, Angela and co. Sorry, Angela family. You're the ones who come here. How it goes. Once you touch down. That's what happens. Once you touch down in the 592 is trouble. Trouble with the capital trouble. Tommy Wilson, I see you there. Anthony Lean NGH, I see you there as well. Utiline Pinder, I see you there as well. Rosignol, anything again? Brace yourself. Rosignol in some story again tonight. I'm finding Rosignol getting hot, you know. To all who got deads in the cemetery at Rosignol. You remember the cemetery to see how the sand? Oh, God. Just think of be having parties in the cemetery. Just think of be having folks. I stay with the cemetery. We coming around. We tell you once we come in the 590. Pressure make water go uphill. Pressure bust pipe, folks. Once you come in the 592, share the live wherever you're joining us from. Shucks, let me call some names, quick man. Karen Thorne is with us tonight. Deborah Clark, Volme Wilson. Good to have you. Eva Mattis, Wayne Brown, Joan Stephanie, Kurt Heidekan is here with us, folks. I put on my little Jamaican in the back there. Good to have all of you on the live. Once you come, I'm telling you, International. You know, 45 lights from the synthetic track there in Linden. Watching coming to the airport. Yeah, this is Little Dubai. Little Dubai. People got the face, thiefing out lights. You watch them too hard, they thief out the lights on the runway again. That is what we need some massive reforms. You gotta lead from the front. You gotta lead from the top. And nothing that we've seen in the last 3.5 years have inspired us to that end. So let's get on with it, folks. Look some what we're following. Look what, oh my Lord, the fire report. Or rather, this is the accident report. Our apologies there for how it is rendered, but this is the accident report. Let's get right on with it. Young man crashed into a concrete bridge. Daniel Anthony, 22 years old. This is in Bartica quite recently. In Bartica. Something wrong here, you know, folks. Something wrong here. If one promised since the year started, y'all know the story already. You know the whole thing. Since the year started, he promised, we're going to speak nationally. And the carnage in our roadways, that's what we said. We have a national conversation while we're still holding our thoughts and prayers with this young man family. Heard that he lost control, I think, and the motorcycle hit, folks, a concrete bridge, causing him head and body injuries, and he was pronounced dead at the Bartica Regional Hospital. Daniel Anthony Lopez, he lost control of his motorcycle while negotiating a right turn. Crashed into that bridge there. Folks, slow down. We got to start saying again. Slow down, folks. And let me arrive alive. Please and thank you. And folks, you could imagine if you went by that bridge. What was going to be the effect of that? If you take a little breeze out on that bridge. One family experienced that up close. Quite recently, folks. Up close. Quite recently. Close. Look story here now. Tell him.
You can put it in a landing now, why?
TikTok may fuck you one. That's you hacking. TikTok make one. What is this man? Hindi people pagando. Yaks. Yaks, yaks.
You saw them, folks? You saw them, folks? That's in the veranda, you know, of the people's house. That is in the veranda. The vehicle lost control, left the road. It's in the veranda. Could you imagine if some folks were taking a breeze in it? What's happening in this country of ours? What is happening in this country of ours? Did it go by too fast? You tell somebody to lift it up and rest it down there? That's not what happened at all. It is not what happened at all. Once you come in the 592, once you touch down, take a look at that.
Hindi lang pwede na landing na way.
TikTok nagpokyawan.
Siguro, hindi na landing na.
Hakim. TikTok nagpokyawan. What is this man? Hindi people pagano. Yaks. Yaks, yaks.
Yeah, that's how it went down, folks. That is how it went down. Father, have his mercies. Father, have his mercies. Folks, share the live and smash that emoji. But you know what's sad? Some big people like they're learning. Some big people are learning. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Don't do it. Then take a learning. He's a pensioner. Right? He got illegal gun and ammo. What are you doing with that? What are you doing? What are you doing with that? Huh? Like you going, what's the faraway place? It's a ring gun. Where's he going with that? Huh? Well, he's been found guilty. He's been found guilty. I don't like see big people operating like little thing, you know. 72 years old, George Archer, found guilty of possessing an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Well, the past issue study, magistrate's court. Right? And he's been convicted in absentia. He wasn't present, his counsel was there, and fined $50,000, 8 months imprisonment at 72. My God. My God. When these things happen, the good book tells us, Dolly Anderson, Patricia Kissoon, F.O. Armstrong, Marilyn Thomas. It's not the end. It's the beginning of sorrows. When these things happen in the 592, folks, it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's the beginning. A duo now from Linden, arrested with 24 pounds of cocaine. Folks, we're going to find hustle. Oh, we share the damn life tonight. You can't do the time, don't do the crime. That's what we say here, folks. Abel Kuru, Adrian Kuru, father and son. They tell us they were intercepted at Providence on the East Coast. The vehicle found to be laden with 22 pounds of cocaine. 27 years old, Kavil Kuru, 35 years old, his father. What a training, folks. They're from Central Amelia's Ward, Linden. A shame from a born tongue. A shame from a born tongue tonight. 22 pounds. But it's making a fine hustle. You were intercepted in a cancer vehicle. That amount of cocaine. Jesus have mercy. Who are they bringing it from? Where the intellectual artist? The intellectual artist has got the 1 ton. Going to Belgium, Netherlands. Right. That's a little small. Jesus have mercy. Where are you going with that? Destroy lives in this country, folks. Destroy lives. When these things happen, at the end, beginning of sorrows, what's a duo arrested with more gun and ammunition, this time in GT. Too many guns in this town. And the minister of, what do you call him again? Home Affairs. Instead of some kind of a structured gun amnesty. We're not in that, he said. You got a gun, is that you think, Put you over the station fence. What madness is this? What madness is this, folks? What madness is this? In little Dubai. Too many people with unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Like you all know something I don't know. Like you all know something I don't know. That's why we see this uptick. But the minister want to know work. Lazy, man. Lazy. Go home, Robeson. Go home. Signs of the times, folks. It's all around us. Tell you, once you the 590, you see it all around you. Signs of the times. Signs of the times and signs and signs and times. Signs of the times. Once you get so fed up. Angela, I can't with y'all, man. Can't with y'all, man. Pack me in a suitcase. Sometimes you get so fed up. You need a little break in the place. Something. And tell y'all, Rosignol, Rock come in. We folks at Rosignol, the watchers from Rosignol, Rock and come in. Oh, shucks, folks, look this here. Potential. Signs of the times, folks. We're losing our boys. We're losing our boys. We're losing our boys. We got to do something, folks. We're losing our boys. We're losing them. National Year Prayer, that's what's required. Look what's happening in Potential. Last night, 17-year-old was beaten and stabbed to death. Aaron Betts lost his life in Potential. 17 years old. What could Aaron have done to anybody? What were his sins that required his life? 17 years. We're losing our boys, folks. We're losing our boys. We're losing them. We're going to fight for them. 17, your life ain't set yet. 17, the cement's still wet. 17. And our investor's gone. Beaten to death by fellow teenagers, they said. Beaten and stabbed to death. Madness in this country. Little Dubai. Little Dubai. Great transformations. Transformation for them is a big building by the seawall. And a thieving ground. That's transformation for them. And Guyanese are cleaning the toilets. Wonderful transformation. Look how we're losing our young people. Look how Aaron Best should have been in the university today, where I was looking at opportunities in this country. What's happening in the education sector? What's happening on the job market? His family mourns him tonight because we don't have the adults in the room to bring guidance. No, the adults trying to marginalize. Thoughts and prayers with our family. Can't imagine what they're going through. Stop to that death, folks, in Potential. Help us. By the way, who changed the life? Who will smash the emoji button? So others get credible and valid information. Folks, I mean, all these things, I said, it's not the end. It's not. It's the beginning of sorrows. It's not. It's not the end, folks. It's the beginning of sorrow. Look story here now. Look story here now. Enid Miggins. You want to see how things take? Sandra Hanover. Look story. Somebody share the live. I think I can end the program here, man. Some of you are playing with me. Share the live. I want other people to see what's happening in Little Dubai. You think things tight by you? You think things tight by you? How am I feeling? You think things are tight by you? Brace it over. Brace it over, folks. Y'all share the life, the man. Share, like I end the program here. That being said, folks, that's your time. Brace it over. Who share the life for we? Look story. Who smash the emoji button? Who's saying give this big head ball head man $10 a month to keep this program going? Share the live, folks. Share it. Look story here now. Brace it over. Remember I told you all about this burial ground in Rosignol? A contractor the other day was stepping out the side. Something whisper in the ears. Remember I told you this morning? Young man before the court said something drop in the head. Something drop in the head to do this dastardly act. Something drop in the head of the contractor. Go and see out the sand. You don't go and buy no sand. You never even land the many sand. You don't buy sand here. Go and thief out the sand from the burial ground. And now some of y'all put itching. You know that people road you walking on. See sand from Rosignol. Build the road, all your foot scratching. You go and say, oh God, this neighbor do me. You know the things. You know the contractor from Rosignol, do you? Dead people, son. I can see some of y'all in the house. Every night you hear the things howling, you see him moving. This neighbor is such a never like me. She grudge me, she greedy. You tying all kind of red ribbon. You got the red lavender, you got this, you got a nothing working. No. Is it contractor from Rosignol? You don't know, you don't know. And what you don't know Marlon Thomas, Sabrina Blue, Wayne Brown, Bantu King. Watch and see. You get a big session in that cemetery. Because look what went down there quite recently, folks. You think it is in this country? Well, it's not easy. It's not. Some of y'all feet scratching right now. Dion Benjamin, some of y'all foot scratching right now. Some of y'all hands scratching right now. You might have passed someplace, you wipe your hand on it. You just don't. That's why when you're going up steps and so on, you don't pull your hand in the band. Because you just don't know. You just don't know. Dead people sand, dead people concrete, dead people street, dead people bridge. The man build you house, soon as you walk by your heart, soon as you walk past a certain wall, you hear something whisper, hey. You hear something whisper, hey. Hey, is it? Alexa, is you, Siri? Is you, hey. You know. Dead people sand build the wall. Mixed with the concrete, and you don't know. Folks, hear me now. When you gone on, great beyond, people say rest in peace. In this country, they gotta add something, a finer, what's the word? A fine print to that. If them boys allow, some folks belong the dead in the same cemetery with the thief out the dead. People son. They were alerted recently that the man out the grave. This how you mean the man out the grave? You want to say how things state? People robbing the dead. Well, let the contractor robbing the son. Thieving the son. People go on and exhume. Then exhume. Because exhume to me is a proper methodology. Monishwar. Outie. Casket. Right? Monishwar. Jaiwa here. Pitchy outie casket. Thief out the things that Monishwar family put you in there with. Thief out the things. This is Rosignol Cemetery, you know, the same that people sand cemetery. Rip off Monishwar head. Monishwar has been down there for about 6 weeks. His family said, for about 6 weeks. Right? His family said, about 6 weeks. His family didn't know. What did they know? They said, rest in peace, Monishwar, Jaiwa here. Monishwar said, huh? Y'all ask them boys. Them boys stumble Monishwar upside down. Break and enter. Listen to me. Hold on. Y'all make some money in this country? Give y'all free advice. Free advice. Here. Make some money. Go into alarm system, not for house and cars only. For the tomb. You're going to alarm system. Now when you left in the ground, click, clicks. Click. You got a security service. People can say, yes, it's grave 9. And they hear a whole van load of police with guns come to see. It's who coming for you. Jerry here like he had on a chain. Them boys ain't got time for loose off a latch. Rip Jerry here head off. And left it on top of the tomb. Went 3 pockets. See? Take off your pants. Take off your shirt. You think things like that. In little Dubai. You think things tight by you. Them boys said to come for sand, but when they got there, all the sand gone. See, you can't even put on your loved one in a proper box. You got a nice casket, you got to lash it up. You got to hammer and lash it up. That's why I say, look, folks, The 10 million you can bury me with? Feed the poor. Put some educational fund for disadvantaged kids or something like that. You wrap me nice cotton and set me ablaze somewhere, scatter the ash in some nice river, not a trench. Think I want you put me down at the Rupert Tier for a set of bush take me over? You think I'm in the Amazon jungle? No. Simple. By the time y'all hear y'all, by God, I must up in flames. Think I want some of them jacobats come and talk a set of nonsense? A set of foolishness? You think I want to thief out somebody, son from under somebody's casket for coming? They're robbing dead. In this little Dubai that we got here, folks, robbing it dead. So Munishwar Jai, he think he gone to the great beyond. And he's gonna rest in peace now. He don't know. What you don't know? As if them boys allow. But telling some of y'all, if y'all go into tomb alarm systems, you leave in the ground, clicks. Now you can rest in peace. Clicks. Cause the Raj. Clicks. Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. Free advice I give you. Free advice. Click. You got a little thing in your hand now. You could know. I can see other camera systems now watching the thing. Let's see how you're doing here. You feel your hand vibrating, you check quick. Things send a signal to you. If you see the action by the battleground, you're watching. So as well doing Sheila today. Next thing you see a man stripping Sheila, right to the casket. Go into the alarm, say, clicks. What's happening here? Huh? You could imagine something past Rossignol Cemetery vibrating, all them alarms going off. Dad's getting up and just walking out them. We got to do what we got to do. They got to rest in peace in this country. As if them boys allow this one Guyana, little Dubai, rip off. Munishwar Jaiwe here, head. Rested on the casket. Take out the chain. Take out the valuables. And they're gone. You know? The only people I know who like that like this, Kim Batson, is PP. It's only them. It's them boys working on the voters list, you know. Them boys working on the voters list. Right? Something pop in the head. Thanks, Sam. Yolanda. Something pop in the head. So we're going for Jai. We're here today. Munishwa. Oh, he think he rested in peace. Pocketory. Confusion powder. He think he rested in peace. He know if we allow. Door to door. Voter registration happening. PPP. Led. Door to door. Voter registration. Cut off his head, sister said. Jesus. Take off his head, you know. Nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing. When these things happen, it's not the end. When these things happen, folks, it's not the end. It's the beginning of sorrows. Folks, if y'all send half of the medication money that y'all used to use, oh my God, the studio we could build, the empire we could build here, y'all come, you have a nice laugh and so on. You don't even have a tip the waiter. You don't even have a tip the waiter. We've pinned that link, folks. We encourage you to make a monthly donation. Once you can, $10 can send you to the great beyond. And clearly, folks, you can't carry the $10 with you now. If them boys allow, them boys come in the casket and take away $10, you know. So while we're here together, put it to good use. If them boys allow, rest in peace. Peace? No. We're not doing that. My mother used to say something. I understand it now. You know, in every family, you got your own lexicon, you got your own language. Are you guys like that, or my family weird? My family got to, we talking English language, but you know it's a different language we talking. Yeah. When my mother said, oh Lord, she looked like death warmed up. You look like that warmed up. You know the old thing. You know the old thing. You look like that warmed up. Folks, on a serious note, y'all think Jagdeo is like a vampire? Jagdeo is like 50 for the last 30 years. Since I was 14, Jagdeo is 50. My mother was still like that warmed up. You see when you live in house, built with teeth and sun from Rosignol, you age differently. You see? I want to age how the Lord ordained me for age. That warmed up. I heard that phrase many times growing up as a child. One that hit me, so this is this is what mean here. This is it. That warmed up. It eluded me for a long time. Then sometimes things come to you like that, full blown like the wind. That warmed up. But the old boy blaming the United Nations Human Rights Committee. Everybody but them, you know. Everybody but them. Folks are not prepared for the social media age. That's why we say share the damn life, smash the emoji button, folks, and give us the capacity to keep moving forward and doing damage to the camp. They're not prepared for the social media age. They think they could go quietly to the Human Rights Committee there of the United Nations, talk the froth. One of my grandmother's phrases. As only our family had these weird phrases. Talk the froth. And then come back and say, we got a clean bill of health from the United Nations. We're doing well as a government. We're doing well as a democracy. Talk the froth. That's what I want to go and do. But it's not going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. He said it's the opposition. Jagdeo got to pick a struggle. We got a proper opposition. Then doing nothing. Then effectual. But oh God, look at them before Capitol Hill. Carry their false narratives. Pick a struggle, Jagdeo. A weak, impotent opposition. And you know the whole 9 yards of it. But look, they've infiltrated the United Nations, the inner sanctums, and carrying their false narratives. Pick a damn struggle. You can't have it both ways. Well, in those meetings, in that committee meeting, they've been asking about the deprivation of civil liberties from the citizenry in this country. Yep, a lot of things. We showed you some of it when we started the program. Those of you now joining, I got to go back and watch. Civil liberties being denied to too many people in this country. Take a look.
The United Nations Human Rights Committee continued its examination of Guyana's human rights situation on Tuesday. Mr. R. Carazon examined a number of issues in the report about Guyana. One was the issue about liberty.
Yet there is a widespread practice of arbitrary and unlawful arrest by police officers and subsequent unlawful detention of civilians, including minors, as we have been reported. The use of force by police officers is governed by the police standard operating procedures. Breach of any of the provisions entitles the affected person to seek relief in court. Such breaches must also be reported to the Police Complaints Authority, which together with the Police Service Commission provide oversight against professional misconduct.
He said that the report lacks details on a number of investigations, convictions, and punishments.
Following complaints of arbitrary and unlawful arrest and detention. No report is made on the existence of a system of restitution for people falsely deprived of their liberty.
Mr. Carazon sought information on the systems of restitution for prolonged pretrial detention.
And increase the use of the use of non-custodial alternatives was to be provided by the state party in the report.
Mr. El Haiba sought information on the treatment of juveniles so as to prioritize their reintegration into society.
I would ask the state party to provide us with details on the nature and duration of penalties and sentences handed down to minors during the reporting period. Now, the committee has taken note of the adoption of the 2018 law on justice for minors. And against that backdrop, we'd like to ask the state party what measures have been taken to guarantee that detention of children is used solely as a last resort and for the shortest possible period.
He also sought information on children being detained separately from adults.
We have received information according to which children are employed in dangerous jobs, and we would like the state party to comment on these reports. According to the reports, children are working in mining, forestry, agriculture, fishing, and in manufacturing. And there is also concern about child labour, specifically in Amerindian communities.
He said that the United Nations Committee has received information on the number of children in conflict with the law and on the increase in the number of street children.
We would also ask you to provide us with information on the process that went into drafting the National Action Plan to eliminate child labour covering the period 2019 to 2025. So as I say, if you could provide us with information on the drafting process that went into that action plan, including information on the stakeholders that were involved in that drafting process. I would like also to ask what specific measures have been taken by the state party to ensure that children are registered at birth and have access to identity documents.
Yep, so he says, folks, that those are opposition issues. That's what he said. That's what he says. Those are, let me see if I can quote him. Where's my note? He said these are typical opposition issues. Right? He says the complaints about the Ghanaian police force and corruption allegation and issues about press freedom. Those are typical opposition talking points, according to him. Folks, I think Aubrey got it right. Leader of the opposition, leader of the PNCR. He says, look, this is what happens when they don't have Mansour Nadir there to stifle dissent in the National Assembly. They can't catch themselves. That's what he says. It is precisely what happens when Mansour is not there to say, oh, this is not urgent. This is not of public importance. They can't stand on their own 2 feet. Leader of the opposition.
The leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, said that the interrogation by the United Nations Human Rights Commission has exposed the human rights abuses in Guyana.
The government could not hide its bad attitude and poor record on the rule of law, transparent activity, accountability, and human rights. In addition, the government was exposed for its high levels of corruption and its unwillingness to investigate allegations of corruption and bribery against its high officials.
He said that the regime has been exposed as authoritarian, abusive, and divisive. He said that the United Nations Forum exposed the inability of the government to face scrutiny.
And since in the National Assembly in Guyana, the PPP has destroyed all the democratic forums, inclusive of the parliamentary sectoral committees, and therefore is not accustomed to being accountable. The PPP refuses to engage in debate on critical issues, and in the case of the Public Accounts Committee, they have made it impotent by changing the law to ensure they are not questioned and interrogated.
At the forum, Minister Gail Teixeira showed her discomfort at being interrogated.
We are concerned that the PPP minister misinformed the UN as it relates to constitutional bodies, especially the appointment of a substantive chancellor and chief justice. In this regard, it must be recalled that the opposition not only agreed to their appointment, but also wrote President Irfan Ali requesting that we need to consider these appointments.
The government refused to act in the face of blatant abuses by government officials. Norton spoke of the questioning and subsequent lack of investigation of allegations about Vice President Bharat Jagdeo.
Bharat Jagdeo, in defiance of the national distrust of him, continues to assume increasing responsibility for foreign investment and the oil sector. Today, we can see where he has taken this country with his incompetence, recklessness, lack of patriotism, and technical and other forms of ignorance.
The failure to confirm the Chancellor and the Chief Justice was one of the issues before the UN Human Rights Commission. The operation even moved to the courts to force the government to confirm the two women. However, Gail Teixeira blamed the government for the non-confirmation.
There's a possibility that there will be some movement. If there isn't, then we will have to take the action, including for the legal action, because we would have taken legal action before, and to protest against the present situation.
Closer. So Norton also says in the purview of the Commissioner of Police to institute an investigation on Sugate. We forget who went in the living room, who handles the deals, who handles all the arrangement, who on the government side, who on the private sector, bring in the business. We have not forgotten, Mr. Norton says it is in the purview. The Commissioner of Police, if you what he saw, commence that investigation.
There has been constant communication between the government and the opposition over the years, and even more recently.
The government is not responsive to anything that is democratic. Like I said before, the thing that we have to do is work assiduously to change the government. The solution to the problem here is a new government.
Norton said that he can resubmit the various documents he shared with the government.
Well, you'll be resubmitting it to a wall, not something, a gray matter that is going to be listening and be responsive. One of the government is that they are not responsive to the concerns of the people. If you look at between 1992 and 2015, they were not. You had large-scale protests, everything, and they were not. The solution lies in changing this government.
He said that the UN Human Rights Committee provided the opportunity for the world to see the nature of the government.
The United States representative was in the forefront of questioning. That should say something to the government and to Guyanese people. And so I think that we will continue to meet the people. We will discuss with them. We will educate them on the malpractices of the government. We will hold our picketing exercise, our demonstration exercise. And we think at the end of the day, Guyana will be blessed with the new government when the next elections are coming.
Norton said that corruption is endemic. He said that the Granger administration had changed the landscape. And that the allegations against Bharat Jagdeo and what is now called Sugate, Ms. Gail Teixeira had told the UN Human Rights Commission that there were no investigations because no reports were made.
We began to call for an independent international investigation because we are cognizant of the fact that the PPP has placed a police commissioner who they control. And there is no independence of the Guyana police force. So to ask the police to investigate would be like charging Caesar to be tried by Caesar. And so, while we are aware it is the police function to so do, we are aware that the police is controlled by the People's Progressive Party, and that when a commissioner is acting, he could go home at any time.
Norton said that the police commissioner is likely to follow the dictates of the government.
But the fact that we are calling for an international investigation doesn't prevent the commissioner from investigating. The law stipulates that he should.
We gotta change the government, Mr. Norton says. We gotta change the government. And folks, that being said, that's our time and that's our program. We want to thank you guys from the bottom of our heart for being here with us this evening. In the thousands, over 3,800 of you join our broadcast live tonight. Folks like Judith Guilford, Joel Ward, Donna Daly, Cheryl Haywood. Good to see you, Jamal Aziz. Good to have all of you on the live tonight, folks. Thanks for being here with us. John Rasta is here with us. Abira is here. Lester Michelle, Diane Gravesandi, Rosetta Barton, Sandra Hanover is here with us as well. Lester Williams, Lennox Anderson. Tomorrow's Friday, folks. TGIF, our final broadcast day for the week until we get into the weekend, folks, and into the new week. John Sullivan, thanks for being here with us. Naomi Drucker, thanks for being here with us. Naomi says it's another good show. Sherrod. Yep. You earn your keep. Thank you, Naomi. Something to write home about. Ayindi Jackson joining us from deep in the Rupununi. Thanks for being here with us, brother. And all the folks at DRN say good night for us. Karen Archibald is here too. Rena Williams, Volmy Wilson, Glenford, Mark, Winella, Clarexis, Charmley, Richmond. Thanks for being here with us this evening, folks. That's me time. And that's me program. Thanks for being here, folks. Stay well. And the last bell. That's it, folks. That's it.